So I think we can start already the discussion. Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining on this important discussion. My name is Tamara Bramitze. I'm the head of the legal department at GC Consulting, and our goal on this webinar is to not to just inform you and provide clarity on the legal framework, what is happening right now in Argentina. We gather today to navigate the legal landscape surrounding all the information and misinformation what was provided on the internet. It is a pleasure to introduce Ms. Silvina Sanchez, an Argentinian surrogacy lawyer with huge experience in this field. Her experience will guide us through the understanding what is the legal situation, what is happening in Argentina, how surrogacy is regulated, and she'll provide all the detailed information. And please, if you have any questions, just write in the group in the chat, and we will answer and provide all information to you. Ms. Silvina, could you start by explaining how surrogacy is regulated currently in Argentina?
Yes, good morning. Thank you for meeting us this morning. I'm seeing a lot of family faces, so. Okay. I am unmuted now. Okay. So I will start saying that up to June, we had here in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires a class action. And as a result of that class action, the judge ordered the civil registry to enroll the babies born by surrogacy as the babies of the intended parents without court intervention. In about May, in the north of the country, somebody saw some cases that could be suspected by trafficking. So the judge here in Buenos Aires, very far away from Córdoba, the province that we saw this problem, he decided to stop this direct registration and decided to see every case in detail and order the registration from the court. So this is nothing to do with a problem with surrogacy, with illegal surrogacy or forbidden surrogacy, nothing to do with this. We are only experiencing some administrative changes. The judge wants to be sure that everybody has their rights covered and that there's no trafficking, that the persons that enter this program, they know what this program involves, that they can have an independent legal advisor. They have their rights covered. And we are signing all the documents in front of a notary. I always say, we are not going to have any problem going to court because before we had these class actions 7 years ago, this was the way that we used to do surrogacy. We started doing surrogacy going to court because we didn't need to go to court. Even though some countries, they ask us to obtain a court order. So in those cases, we continue going to court. But we decided to go directly to civil registry because it was faster, easier, friendly. We don't see any problem. We don't have any problem. We started our court presentations. We only are, all the lawyers, we are working together, and we are deciding if we are going during pregnancy to obtain a pre-birth order, or we are waiting until the baby is born to ask the authorization once the baby is born. We started last week. Lots of presentations, like I started 40 presentations last week, and we are seeing different criteria. A judge yesterday said, okay, where do everybody lives, for example? Our surrogate lives outside the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires, so maybe you need to go to that judge. So in that case, we are seeing for the first case that we would prefer to go to court when the baby is already born in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires, because we are going to have that discussion about if we need to go to court in Buenos Aires or we need to court in Greater Buenos Aires 30 minutes away from here. That is the most deep discussion we are going to have, not about surrogacy or filiation or enrollment the baby or nothing to do with that. I will say, I'm sorry, Tamuna.
No, thank you for information. To cover everything step by step, as you mentioned, that everything was like in Buenos Aires by court order. You can register the baby directly without it was before to go to court and obtain the acknowledgement or order from the court to prove the affiliation between the parents and the child. Could you like explain, for example, what kind of documentation requirement was before the like civil register just stop issuing the birth certificate? Was there any difference documentation they requested first if they
We are
had
using,
changed? Yes.
okay, we are using the same agreements, the same informed consents. We are signing those documents in front of a notary as we used to sign when we were directed to civil registry, but we are going to write a petition when we go to judge. It's the same documentation. And I will always say, if you're going to start your journey in Argentina, you need to hire a good agency, because everywhere in the world, there's people that works okay, people doesn't work okay. So global, for example, they have these strict protocols, international protocols, and when you follow those protocols, we don't have any problem in court, because we have a surrogate that she's educated, that she understands what she reads. She has an independent legal advisor. She has psychological support. She has social worker support. She has health insurance, life insurance. All her rights are covered. All our intended parents' rights are covered. We sign in front of a notary just to be sure that who is signing those documents is the person that says, I am signing. The notary certifies identity, certifies capacity, certifies freedom, because he asks, are you sure to sign this? So if surrogate says all that signatures are recorded, intended parents are going to have a translator, because the judge and the authority needs to be sure that everybody understands what they are signing. And the doctor is going to sign all the documents with us. The doctor is included in all the informed consents, all the agreements, and we are going to show that to the judge. So we only need to show this picture. Everybody's free, everybody has capacity, everybody wants to enter this program. There's no trafficking here. That's what they are looking for. That's what they saw in the north of the country. So when we have all protocols followed, all requirements followed, and all legal aspects covered, we are not having problems. Even when we have compensation, compensation is allowed here. We don't have problems with compensation. We don't need to lie. We don't need to hide. Nothing to do with that.
Thank you for the information. Before we move to the questions, because I see in the group chat, like in the chat, there's so many questions. I think it will be important to cover some important points related to the legal changes, then we will move to the questions. So first of all, could you explain when the civil registry declined to issue the birth certificate, and based on one or what, like which order? Thank you.
The last birth certificate was delivered to a baby born before June 6th. That's the date the civil registry said, okay, we received that day the notification from court to stop delivering birth certificates. So all the babies that were born before June 6th, they have already their birth certificates, and they are all their families back home at this moment. If you read that we have families stocked in Buenos Aires, nobody can leave Buenos Aires, that's not true. We don't have any families now here, babies born before June 6th. They took more time, yes. They had bad luck because the baby was born in the middle of these changes, but nothing to do with a problem or surrogacy or illegal or nothing. They are all at home now.
So basically, the last changes was that babies born before 3 June, they already obtained the birth certificate, all of them.
Everybody has their birth certificates.
And the birth certificate was issued under the intended parents' names. Was there like any changes from the civil registry side? Did they request some additional documentation from intended parents?
I am sure I understood your question. All the birth certificates were delivered up to June 6th are with the birth certificate, with the intended parents on the birth certificate. No surrogate's name. There's some parents that they are thinking, what if we include surrogate's name in birth certificate? So yesterday, civil registry said not possible because this is a surrogacy process. We are not going to give you or deliver a birth certificate if you are lying to us. So I know somebody said, I had my birth certificate with surrogate's name. Maybe there's one case and immediately civil registry realized that it was a surrogacy process. So they decided not to accept more applications. So that's not possible.
Understand. And what is the like recent changes? Did the court make any clarification? Was there any like some additional order from the court regarding birth certificates? Because I heard on the internet there's many information going on, especially like, for example, court issued another clarification on August 6th, and they also stated the surrogate mother name will be included in the birth certificate. Could you clarify that? Because it was also like confusing for everyone.
In August 6th, that's what the date that the civil registry delivered all these old birth certificates. There were these families waiting for birth certificates. So they took one more month to write down a resolution saying, up to this moment, we are not delivering more birth certificates. And now we are going to deliver only birth certificates for babies born before June 6th. That's all they said on August 6th. They said, okay, we have these resolutions. These resolutions were ongoing since 2017 because of a class action. But on that day, 6th June, we received a notification from court saying no more birth certificates with no court intervention. So they wrote that on August 6th, but it was for June 6th. That was the day that they delivered all the birth certificates for the babies who were born since and before June 6th. There's a lot of birth certificates waiting because after June 6th, the civil registry continue receiving applications. Those are the cases that parents are going every day to civil registry just to see, are you going to deliver me the birth certificate? May I put my surrogate's name on it? And yesterday, the civil registry said, no more birth certificates for the moment. With that resolution dated on August 6th, that was the end. Yes. So I don't think, personally, I don't think they are going to deliver any other birth certificate until you have a court order.
I understand. So is there like any clarification court made before? Because I also heard on the internet that, for example, there was also LGBTQ organization who appealed the court decision on the May. Do we have any additional clarification how this process is going on right now?
No, I asked yesterday, I called the lawyer and she said, we are trying to propose this superior court a work table, workspace, so we can go back in time and continue, but we are thinking about that. We didn't show court anything of this plan we're working on, and we don't know what they are doing now. They are studying the case, and we don't know when they are going to rule again.
I understand.
So maybe there's a possibility, 50%, 50%. Court says, okay, we can go back and continue delivering birth certificates, or saying, no, we are going to continue with court orders. Personally, I think they are not going to go back. This is my personal opinion.
So basically, considering your personal opinion, and right now we don't have like any clear clarification from the court for the babies after born through June. So what is the best solution? What can we do to protect the child who was born right now and they're waiting the birth certificate, or the surrogate mothers and infant parents who are pregnant and going to have a baby in like a couple of months. What is the best solution for these two case scenarios?
Go to court.
Okay.
The best scenario is go to court, because if not, you're going to be in a limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Civil registry is saying, I am not delivering birth certificate. They are saying, okay, come, we can talk, but at the end of the day, nobody has a birth certificate. So my best legal advice is go to court. I think it's a good place to go. It's sure, it's a safe place to go. And if we explain everything, we show all documents, there's no problem with surrogacy in Argentina. We have thousands of cases.
Yeah, understand. So basically there's like two case scenario. Before we move to the group like chat questions, I think I noticed this question too. So if baby is already delivered, what I will request for court, like to acknowledge the child which was born, for example, on 10 June, to be acknowledged as a like child of the intended parents. And in case of the surrogate mother is pregnant, we are asking to just confirm or acknowledgement of the surrogacy process, or it is the same like law request?
It's the same. It's the same. We have some technical discussion between lawyers saying in Argentina, we have best interest of child when the baby is born and when during pregnancy. But for Argentina, baby needs to be born alive. So maybe some judge can say, okay, we are okay. Come here when the baby is already born. Or my best chance is with the baby, we go to court. Next day, the baby is born with the baby, with born alive certificate. We go to court and say, okay, we have this baby, this is a surrogacy process, best interest of the child, the right of identity, the right of have a family. We have our constitution, and we have a lot of international pacts about rights of the babies, rights of the child, international conventions, United Nations. We have a lot of things that we have incorporated in our constitution. And I think it's safer and more clear if we go to court with the baby already born. But I will be 100% honest. We have lots of cases. So some parents, they decided to take a chance. And we are starting lots of presentations during pregnancy. We have a doctor certificate saying we have a viable pregnancy, 22, 24, 26 weeks. And we are expecting this baby for November, October. Please give us a pre-birth order. Nobody has until now one case that it's finished. Mm-hmm. If somebody says we have the first case, that's untrue. Yes. That's false. Everybody is in court now.
So basically one of the questions in the chat is that about pre-birth order, because you mentioned this is also possible based on the Argentinian law and regulation. Mm-hmm. So currently you have already pre-birth like court orders going on, and how long it's been in the court, or how is the process going on, and how long it might take?
I think we can expect between 8, 10, 12 weeks maximum, because it's an urgent process. It's not an ordinary trial. It's an urgent process. We have some important rights to protect, and we have babies to protect. So judges, they think that's important. Family issues are important in Argentina. I would say 8, 10 weeks. We had some pre-birth orders. We started them before holidays, and the court took 2 weeks holidays. And they don't work in that period. So maybe we have some weeks we don't work here. Just to be sure, I would say 8, 10, 12 weeks.
Understand. Is that, like you mentioned, we provide some additional documentation from the clinic, informed consent. Is there any specific documents the court need based on the practice, or do the couple need to be in Argentina when we apply for pre-birth order?
They don't need to be here when we apply in court. We use a power of attorney that they sign at home, and they translate it, an apostille, And with that, for us and for judges, it's enough. All the documents we ask clinic is our informed consents signed in front of a notary and all the medical informed consents that clinics they have inside and they signed, and we ask them a doctor certificate, just saying, I am doctor in charge. Even when he signed all our informed consents all together in front of a notary, we asking him another document where he says, I am the doctor in charge, I have these patients, I have this surrogate, this is a surrogacy process, I did the transfer of these embryos on that date, and we have now 22, 24, 26 weeks pregnancy. He signs, and we go with that to court. Maybe we had one case last year when we needed a parental order for a specific country, and the judge asked the surrogate to go to court, and he asked her some questions. Everything went okay. Maybe a judge could want to know surrogate. This petition we file in court, we are going with intended parents, their lawyers, surrogate, and her lawyer. Everybody's going to court.
Yes, I understand. And one of the questions about like your court hearings. I assume the winter holiday just finished, so it will go on and you'll have like court hearings because you mentioned you
Yes.
already submitted 40 cases. Do you think that if right now there's like a couple of pregnancy, only just consulting has like almost 18 pregnancy currently. If a lot of couple of intended parents apply for pre-birth order, is there a possibility to receive the order will delay it because court will have a lot of work, a lot of demand for pre-birth order? Is there a possibility of these to happen?
Okay, I would think I will think this. We have 20 judges. They are family judges here in Buenos Aires. I know we have court orders in all our judges. Every judge has more than one. I think at first they are going to read. There's new for them. We have parents from abroad. They are not here, maybe, but if global, other agencies, we have lots of pregnancies now. Start submitting court orders. In 1 month, they are going to be like this because we all have same documents. Everybody knows which agencies that work with high standards. So I would think that when they see this is the agency, this is the document, this is the lawyer, and this is the clinic, it will work faster. That's what I think.
I understand.
We'll see.
And like currently, as you mentioned, also the one of the question is how are the other cases going on in civil registry or other states in Buenos Aires or in other states? In case of the Buenos Aires, Miss Sylvina also mentioned that all the baby, also our intended parents, whose baby was born before June 3, already obtained the birth certificate and they left the country. But for other intended parents whose baby was born after June 3, we're still waiting additional clarification from court or we will go to court. But what about other states? So basically the question includes what is happening in other provinces of Argentina. Do they go into court? Yes.
Yes. And we only had this class action in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires. So all the babies were coming here to be born because it was easier at all lawyers and clinics. They say, okay, come to Buenos Aires because it's faster. If the baby was born in another part of the country, it was the same. You needed to go to court because we didn't have that class action in the rest of the country. So if the baby was born in Entre Rios, we need to go to court. For us, it was the same. It took more time. Yes, but it wasn't a problem. But we were comfortable people, so we wanted to be here in Buenos Aires because we have our office in Buenos Aires, clinic is in Buenos Aires. I would say that every case of surrogacy comes here to do embryo transfer because you will find best fertility clinics here. You will find doctors very trained in surrogacy. They are familiar with surrogacy. They know that we have intended parents abroad and we need more communication. So it's a friendly environment for surrogacy, and the private hospital where babies are born It's a very trained hospital in surrogacy. So it's better to come here. But if baby is born outside Buenos Aires, no problem with that.
Yeah, one of the questions is about like pre-birth order in other states. For example, they already follow this process to obtain pre-birth order in other states or in Argentina. And the question includes like, is there any difference legal practice between other states and Buenos Aires? Are there any risks in case of the Buenos Aires it will take much longer or it will be much difficult from the paperwork side or they will request something additional
Yes,
documentation?
I would say this. We have lots of cases in the rest of the country of pre-transfer order. But those cases we have are my sister is going to be my surrogate, my friend is going to be my surrogate. So that's easier. Nobody never said, no, I do not give you the authorization to do this surrogacy process. But there were very specific cases. I don't know about any case outside Buenos Aires of pre-birth order during pregnancy. All the cases are here in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires. We have here lots of more cases, and judges are more used to see surrogacy. And that's why you have lots of cases here, lots of circumstances, parents from Argentina, parents from abroad, parents living in Buenos Aires, parents living outside Buenos Aires, but everybody comes here because judges are more trained. And I don't think there's cases of pre-birth order of international surrogacy outside the autonomous city of Buenos Aires.
I understand. But is there like considering you mentioned that there's no specific law of surrogacy in Argentina, like for even for court, is there any possibility or slight chance that court might refuse pre-birth order or even the court case if baby is born in Buenos Aires?
And in Argentina, we don't have a law that regulates surrogacy, but we have our civil code, and our civil code speaks that filiation, source of filiation is giving birth and procreation or will. When you have a case with a woman saying, I do not have procreational will, even when I am giving birth to this baby, and you have intended parents that say, we have procreational will, you have the first source of filiation. That's very important. The other thing that is important is we have our international pacts that are included in our constitution, and they all talk about best interest of the child, right of identity, right of a family, right of no discrimination regarding the way they were born or if they were adopted or whatever. So we don't have cases with judges refusing surrogacy. They only look if we are trafficking. That's the only thing they need to be sure. If we have another chance to build your family, if you have another way of building a family or some different options in life, that's not a problem. The problem is if they see trafficking.
Yeah, I understand.
I will give this example. In the province that this problem started, they had a case that it was a surrogate woman that she had 6 kids. She has no job and her husband in jail. So they thought she couldn't decide with freedom because she doesn't has money to give it for their kids. It's important to show that our surrogates, they have a job or their husbands have a job. And this is not the only income of money. Okay, that's important. This was the case that put on the lights on. Okay, what do we have here? She's in a very, very poor situation. This is not correct.
Yeah,
that was what started the problem.
Yes. One of the questions about like recent comment the civil registry might have, and we, as Ms. Silverman answered, like currently there's no additional clarification from civil registry. They're waiting still court orders or some additional clarification from the court. Another question about like currently the birth certificate was issued last week for each parent, and there was like small sentence. It's like legend. This is not evidence of affiliation or relationship. So what is the implication in this situation expanding to continue? For example, our intended parents obtained a birth certificate, they obtained a passport from their country, and they left the country without any issues. So, what your thoughts regarding this?
If you ask me as a lawyer, I would say, okay, go back home, and when you are home, we are going to continue here, and I will ask the judge to remove that legend because it's not correct and it's not true. And we will ask the judge only not to remove that legend, we are going to ask him to say there's filiation, because a birth certificate is a filiation certificate. It's the same as you give some driving license, and in the bottom you say you can drive with this. It's the same. So if we ask me, you don't need to rush, whatever, but next month, the other month, just call us and we are going to go to court to ask, please remove this. That is not correct.
Yes,
I would say they have this public employee mind, and they wanted just to be sure nobody was going to accuse them if they delivered a birth certificate, but they needed to deliver birth certificates. So when the birth certificate was received and you obtained your passport and you left the country, you have filiation. If not, you couldn't leave the country.
I agree. Definitely, baby will not be able to leave Argentina if the parents, like legal guardian, is not set by the government. So if birth certificate was issued and there's mentioning parents, you will have not any problem because this is a document that by like principle biologically proves the affiliation between tenant parents and the child. One of the questions was that we already answered what is the plan to work in this like court. Is our one of the plan to apply for a court and a request to acknowledgement of the affiliation between parents. And one of the question is that about, I assume in case in a worst scenario, if surrogate mother is included in the birth certificate, is it possible?
What do we do?
And the court might decline the like rejection or might reject you to remove the surrogate mother in the birth certificate. Is it possible?
No, not possible. But we have a different process here. When you have your surrogate mother in the birth certificate, you leave the country with a travel authorization signed by her and with a notary act saying that she is in the birth certificate because of the context and because if it was an emergency and you need to leave the country. When you leave the country, we go to court and we do this new process asking judge to remove surrogate from birth certificate. It's a longer process because it's not an urgence. You are already home. In the daily life, for you, it's the same. You are going to be at home with this birth certificate and this notary authorization for life. And no cases of refusing that.
Yes. One more interesting question there is mentioned in the chat is, can you hear me? Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I see you now.
Oh, great. Thank you. So, is there like any there's a question about there was the report that court have raised concern with the form and consent of the surrogacy contract. Do we need to adjust some changes or court requests to modify the informed consent or surrogacy contract?
No, we don't modify anything because what we always included these resolutions from civil registry that allowed us to register babies. In the case superior says, okay, we are going back, we are going to use same resolutions. So we don't remove that from birth certificates just in case. We don't know. I think this is an adjustment, it's a period of adjustments. And in 6 months, maybe we are going to have all our details closed. And maybe we can modify something, but the way they are okay for judges.
Yes, I understand. And the question is about, does the transfer have to happen in clinic of the autonomous city of the Buenos Aires? So if you start your surrogacy process in Buenos Aires, of course, the transfer will happen in Buenos Aires, because this is also important, baby to be in Buenos Aires. And one more interesting question is that, can birth certificate still be issued immediately on the name of the surrogate mother and one of the intended parents? I think you already answered this, but we can also repeat to make sure that.
I heard there were 1 or 2 cases that went to civil registry. They lied to civil registry. They said, okay, she's the mother, I'm the father. He recognized baby and we are done. But civil registry, they detected that. And yesterday they said, no more lying here. Please don't come here and ask for registration when it's a surrogacy process. We are not receiving those applications. So no more that possibility.
Yes, I understand. And this is interesting question. From the official sources, one of the intended parents in the chat mentioned that they heard that intended parents need to prove their relationship with the surrogate before the transfer. Is it like proved, or is it like requested by court?
Okay, if you have a friend, if you're from Argentina, you have a friend, it's your sister, your cousin, your sister-in-law, you're going to go to judge and say, okay, she's my friend, my cousin, my sister, whatever. If you don't have any relationship, you are not going to lie. In Córdoba, this province, these intended parents started lying. They said, okay, I met her. That was all a lie because they had an agency. I don't know why they lied. I don't know. Here in Buenos Aires, you don't need to lie. You go with the truth. Nobody abused nobody here.
So as I understand, there's no additional requirement from the court that you need to prove the relationship with the surrogate mother before the embryo transfer.
No. It wasn't be the judge is not going to believe this relationship because our parents are, for example, from Australia. Our surrogate is from Greater Buenos Aires. They don't speak the same language. They don't are friends in Instagram or whatever. How are you going to prove she was your friend? The judge will start saying, okay, somebody's lying here.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We don't need to lie because nobody's committed a crime here.
And especially if you have informed consent, I understand, and surrogacy agreement that proves the relationship between two individuals.
And she's free to decide. She's free to decide. She understands what she reads. She has psychological support, social worker support, notary involved, doctor involved. Everybody's involved.
Yes. And one of the questions also, like, you have already court cases going on right now, especially after the May and June. The question includes, like, was there, like, from the court requested to prove the non-altruistic aspect of the surrogacy process? Was this requested from the court, or do they request additional, like, evidence?
No, here it's discussed about surrogacy. Some people, they say, okay, it's only can be altruistic, and there's another people saying it's solidarity, surrogacy. And in the cases I went to court for parental orders, we always told judge she received money. In one case, judge asked our surrogate and said, did you receive money? Yes. How much did you receive? She said, I don't remember. Okay. Are you okay with that? Yes, because, and she said, I finished my house and I studied just to be manicure or something like that. And now I have a better job. And he asked, are you going to do this again? Yes, maybe I am going to help the same parents to have a brother. And when he ruled, he said, okay, she received money. She's very happy with the situation. She used for a good purpose this money. So she was free to decide. No need to say, okay, no compensation paid if you are paying compensation. So I don't know why everybody is discussing about it, but this is not a reality here.
Yeah, understand. And this is the question we answered already, but we can also summarize to make sure the intended parents understand. It's like how long the court process takes, for example, in case of the pre-birth order, or if we apply after baby's born, how long it will take, and how long we will in what
Stay
time.
here.
Yeah, and also when we obtain a birth certificate after we have court
I
order, how long it will
Yes,
take.
when we obtain a court order, we need to go to civil registry with the court order and say, please register this baby. They are going to take like 1 or 2 weeks to read this, to put this in the birth certificate, whatever. I would say be prepared to be here for 3 months. That's just to be sure, not to create false expectations. And if it's less time, we are all happy. But be prepared to be here for 3 months.
So 3 months just for court and birth certificate, or included the passport and everything?
The passport is in 4 hours. So
Okay.
passport is not for me. It's not part of my timeline. When you obtain your birth certificate, that moment you have your baby's DNA, and you go to the airport the day before, and
Yes.
they're giving to your passport in 2 hours.
And there's a
So last week,
Yes.
when on Friday all our families received the birth certificates, on Saturday they went to the airport and they started to leave the country on
Yes.
Sunday and Monday.
Yes.
Everybody is now at home.
Yeah, that's the great news too.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's the question about roughly estimate cost for course fees. And I also understand it depends on the lawyer you have in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, what is the legal fee, and how your agency will manage this part. So I think it will be different for every lawyer, like for course proceeding and
I think it's different for every lawyer.
yeah.
There's different situations because I am an independent lawyer, so I am not inside one agency. I am seeing that agencies are saying, okay, you paid us a program, so it's okay. If you come to me and say, I don't know you, please, could you help me with this? I would say my fees are $2,000 to go to court and obtain your court order. But it's different in every case. I have independent lawyers. I have agencies that called me to collaborate with them because I am independent lawyer, so I work with everybody. I don't see there are more than 2, 3, or 4 lawyers that we are doing this. When you are not used to do this, you start saying, okay, I am sure to start working on these applications. For me, it's okay because I did this before class action. So we are trained, we work with surrogacy. I am not afraid. I have these parental orders. I have a lot of cases. So, but yesterday we said, okay, how many lawyers are we working on this? Maybe 2, 3, 4 lawyers. We are going to court in Buenos Aires. But it's different in each case because of the program you have with your agency.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. And there's one question. I also heard this information about Pop that he doesn't like the surrogacy in Argentina, and he clearly stated about that. So the question is like, so you don't think that, or you don't anticipate there will be like legal changes or more difficulty in the court because of the like some religious like thoughts or beliefs about these things?
Yes, nothing to do with surrogacy. There's an administrative change for registering babies. No crime, no illegally, no nothing.
Yeah, I noticed this question often. Like, I just want to clarify before I ask you some additional questions. Still, there was no like clarification from the court that surrogate mother will be included in the birth certificate. This was never said. It's like some information I also heard from the like I also read on internet that they will be like birth certificate will be delivered under the surrogate mother's name. This was never confirmed by the court. In the worst case scenario, if court says the surrogate mother will be included, as Ms. Silvina mentioned, that there's court proceeding, you need to go to court and remove the surrogate mother. Because I have mentioned there's a lot of question about surrogate mother be included in the birth certificate, and as you mentioned before, it was never clarified, never made from the court or civil registry that we will do that. And also one more interesting question. Do you think there will be like some difference, like maybe different process from the court side for same-sex couple or single parents,
No,
righteous. They'll
it's
be
the
like,
same. It's the same for us. You don't need to be married. You don't need to be a heterosexual couple, same-sex couple, only one father with my mother.
yes.
Argentina, you don't need to be married. Nothing to do with that. Best interest of the child is the principle that we follow.
Yes. And one other question is that currently, just to repeat again to make sure that it is clear defined, like currently, was there any information or clarification from the court about the babies born after 3 June? Or when we expect it, the civil registry or court will make some clarification?
They took 1 month to decide about babies born before June 6th. Maybe we can expect 1 more month in
And
these
also,
cases.
in case of these parents, if they apply for court right now, is it possible the court will finish sooner than the civil registry will get some clarification, or they will issue the birth certificate? The court proceeding might be ended sooner if we apply now.
If we apply during pregnancy, it might finish sooner. But until we go to court, in these cases, we have the cases we filled last week for pre-birth orders. So in my personal opinion, I am not going to court this week with new pre-birth orders. I am going to expect what judges say in my cases I filled last week. I want to see what they prefer. Maybe there are some judges that prefer something, or some judges prefer other thing. I am not filling presentations this week.
And also the parents who has baby right now born in Argentina that have this like birth certificate. If they apply right now to court, how long it will
Yes,
take?
if the baby, I would say 8, 10, 12 weeks. If the baby is going to be born tomorrow, we are going to go into court on Friday with all our documents. And I would say just expect to be here for 3 months.
Yeah, I understand. And one more question is about like, so embryo transfer can be done outside of Buenos Aires. In this case,
Yes.
you just need to go to court in that province where the surgery was done and perform the embryo transfer. Yes.
Well, if the baby is going to be born in the Autonomous City of Buenos Aires, I have this a doctor certificate saying, okay, even when we don't live here, we are going to give birth here. One judge yesterday said, okay, go to prosecutor because I want to be sure that he's okay if I decide on this case. That's why I want to expect what they decide about address. It's important. Nothing to do with fertility clinic or where the transfer was made, or nothing to do with that. It's about a parent's address, surrogate address, and where the baby is going to be born.
So basically, it's important where the baby will be delivered, and it's
Yes.
it's like not really important where the embryo transfer was
Where's
done.
the clinic? Yes, where's the
understand.
clinic? No problem with that.
So one more question is about like, you mentioned the surrogate mother need to be working. I think she mentioned that surrogate mother was working after and found better job after the surrogacy, because the question is like,
Yes.
can she quit her job when she does the surrogacy? So I think the question is also not clear, but I think this
We always ask when a lawyer starts working in a case, we always see this. If she has a job, or her husband or partner has a job and maybe she stays at home with her kids. All we ask is that situation, because this can't be the only in-source income of money. And if she starts the program and she has a job, we always ask, don't quit your job. You don't need to stop working when you enter this program. So we try to advise her. It's important to show judge that you are free to decide. So don't quit your job.
I understand. And also, what about double donation in these cases? Is it okay to like we proceed with the double donation?
Okay. It's okay. We studied for a couple of weeks about this, And we had lots of cases in the past with double donation and surrogacy. So we have a very good law that regulates donation of genetic material. So there's not a problem with double donation.
Oh, that's great. One of the questions is about like 3 months. So I assume the reaction was like 3 months staying after the births. But I will clarify, if we obtain births pre-birth order, and we will have this order and baby was born, and we apply for civil registry, how long it will take to obtain birth
It will
certificate?
take 3 weeks, maybe. But I will say this. First of all, you need to have your child, then documents. So it's important. Okay, be aware you have your child. In my personal case, when my kids were born, we didn't have any case of surrogacy here. First case came here 1 year later, and I need to go to another country and stay there for 4 months. So surrogacy, it's a very complex process. You need to be aware if we have some delays or something can happen. It's administrative, but it's different, like a normal birth.
Yes, I agree.
It's different. It's different.
Yes. And one more question is that about like information in media, as you mentioned, there's never was discussion that surrogacy need to be banned or they will reject all the future international surrogacy cases. So question is about like, are there any changes of legislation being discussed in Argentina media currently? Was they are talking about to banning surrogacy in Argentina from now on?
I don't think this is a question is in agenda. We don't have this in agenda.
Yes.
All the projects we had in Congress, they lost their status, so they could not be treated anymore. And maybe you say this or something came out, they had a meeting between some embassies and external affairs because some embassies wanted Argentina to declare an emergency situation so they could deliver passports as if we were in a war. As it happened with Ukraine, for example, we have some cases of Argentinian babies in Ukraine that Argentina gave them birth certificates without Ukraine birth certificate. I think this was what embassies tried to obtain. And Argentina said, okay, we are not in an emergency process. We are not undergoing any conflict. So you just wait, you are going to solve this. That's why I think some information is circulating. There's nothing to do against surrogacy, and I don't think this is an agenda.
I understand. One more interesting question. I also want to make comment regarding this. One of the intern parents asking, should we try to see if surrogate mother can deliver in other country because 3 months is the long time to wait in Argentina. One of the big problem of surrogacy is like when you perform surrogacy, for example, in Georgia or in Argentina, a whole process needs to be held in Argentina and baby must be delivered in Argentina or in Georgia. If you're thinking to take surrogate mother in another country, it's already trafficking, so it's against the law and it will be like violation of the human rights. So this is never under discussion because if you come to Argentina to follow the Argentina law and regulation, and you would make a transfer in Argentina and deliver baby here, and baby delivery must happen here because surrogate mother is citizen of the Argentina and all the process was held here. So
that's correct. Yes.
Another thing is that to clarify, because I noticed this was some of the intended parents asked this question. So theoretically, we obtained pre-birth order while surrogate mother is pregnant and baby was delivered. We apply for civil registry. We will obtain birth certificate in a couple of months, yes?
Yes, couple of weeks. If we
couple
obtain
of weeks. I apologize.
Couple of weeks, yes.
Yeah. But if we did not apply for pre-birth order and we wait the surrogate mother to deliver the baby, and after that we apply for court, it will take 3 months.
Yes. 8, 10, 12 weeks.
Yes. So basically, this is the difference. Pre-birth order saves like some time for you, and when the baby will be delivered, you will just take a couple of weeks, maybe like 3 weeks or 4 weeks as it used to be. Like to obtain birth certificate in Argentina, it usually takes 4 weeks in ordinary period of time.
Yes, but when you go with a court order, civil registry doesn't investigate or have legal opinion inside because they have a judge order. I will tell you this. Last week, I called a judge, you can call judge, right? At the court. And I say, please, the 2 weeks that you have this file in study, are you going to rule fast? Because my clients, they want to leave the country. It was one of the families that they didn't have birth certificate. Now they are at home. And the court answered, okay, for you it's an urgence that parents needs to go back home. For us, it's an urgence to protect the baby. So we are going to take our time. It's for us, your parents are not nothing we are going to take care. We are going to take care about the babies.
Yes, I understand. One of the interesting questions, like I will make comment because you mentioned this couple of times. Currently, there was never made a clarification that surrogate mother will be appear on the birth certificate. So, because question was that, do I understand this correctly, that the surrogate mother's name will be listed on the birth certificate for all cases? No, this was never confirmed from the government.
I will clarify this. Even if it's like we are supposing tomorrow civil registry say, okay, we are receiving applications to write a surrogate's name on birth certificates. That's if you want. That's not mandatory. If you don't want to see your surrogate in the birth certificate, you don't apply at civil registry and you go directly to court. When you don't apply, your baby is no registering. It's not like state registers every baby that is born here. So if you want to see surrogate's name and civil registry receives the application, you can decide to go that way. If you don't want to take that path, you go to court and ask judge to register the baby. You will have a baby that is not in the system until judges decide.
Understand.
But during that time, your baby is protected. You are the legal guardian of the baby. You decide, you go to doctor, you go to pediatrician, you vaccinate your baby, you have health insurance. That's the same. You can't travel, you can't leave the country. That's the only thing. If you don't have birth certificate, you can't leave the country.
Yes. And what is the best time to apply for pre-birth order? Like, for example, how many weeks pregnancy is, like 22 or 23? Because you mentioned it takes up to 10 weeks or 8 weeks. So what is the best time to apply?
Maybe I would say when we have a viable pregnancy, because in week 28, doctor says it's compatible with life.
Okay.
So we will start 24, 22, 26.
Okay, I understand.
At moment.
And also, as you mentioned, the parents doesn't need to be in Buenos Aires when we apply for pre-birth order.
All at last week, a parent said, okay, but you fill the presentation without me? Of course, it's digital here. It's all digital. And if we need to have a hearing and parents are not here, it's via Zoom, the hearing. So you don't need to be here.
Okay.
Yes, you need to be here to receive your baby.
Yes. And also one more question. So basically, if even in Buenos Aires, theoretically, in the case scenario, in one of the case scenario, all the cases will go to court. Will be there any difference, for example, to start surrogacy process in Buenos Aires or in any other state of the Argentina?
No, it will be the same. I would say I prefer Buenos Aires because they have hundreds of cases now. It's not the same, a judge. For example, if you go to Salta, the north of the country, and a baby is born outside capital, this judge that's going to decide about registering your baby is a judge that decides about work, like labor. It's a judge that decides about divorce. It's a judge that decides about checks. How do you call here the activity? It's minería called in Spanish. It's metal, gold, lithium. It's the same judge. He doesn't see surrogacy every day. If you come here, your judge now has 20 cases on his desk. So I would prefer as a lawyer to have a judge that understands surrogacy. That's the only decision we need to make. I would prefer that.
I understand.
And you will need to find a lawyer in that province because I can't go to Salta. And I don't think you will find a lot of lawyers that are used to the surrogacy or international surrogacy. Maybe if they had one case with a client or his sister, but they only had one, if they had one.
Oh, that's interesting because having like legal guardian with you while going through the process is really important, definitely, because you need to be sure that someone is following you, speaks the language, and can go through the court process.
Yes, yes.
One of the interesting questions, because I'm based in Georgia. I have done like I'm a serious lawyer in Georgia. I never had this kind of cases still in Georgia. Like, is when you're moving, one of the intended parents has trouble to move from apartment to a hotel because hotel requested birth certificate from them, and they did not have birth certificate at the time. Is this like common practice? Hotels asking the birth certificate, or
I
this is?
I never heard that. I don't know which hotel was,
Yes.
but
Neither do I,
no,
because in Georgia, if
no,
you're with a baby, it's considered baby is your child. So
no. If they tell me what hotel was, I will call them and say,
yeah,
please,
yes,
don't do that kind of things.
uh,
Unnecessary.
yes, I agree because I never heard these kind of cases too. And one of the
No.
interesting questions is that if we start pre-birth order and surrogate mother, for example, lives outside of Buenos Aires and she moved to Buenos Aires during this whole surrogate process, the changing of the address will the delay pre-birth order or course proceeding, or there will be like extra time or some extra paperwork.
No, if she moves and we don't have the doctor certificate that says that the baby is going to be born in the Autonomous of Buenos Aires, we are going to decide, we need to decide if we are going with a pre-birth order or we are going to wait until the baby is born. I would say I would wait until the baby is born.
I understand.
I don't want to innovate. I don't want
Yes.
to innovate or invent something. So take the safest path we have.
Yeah.
It's all written about surrogacy here.
Yes. And in courts get used to the like surrogacy cases, so it's much easier for them to understand and operate through the process.
Yeah.
Oh,
They are now very trained,
yes.
reading consents, reading agreements, protocolizations. There's one notary here. He has 90% of surrogacy cases, digital surrogacy
Yes.
cases, and they already know this notary. So if they see all the documents were signed in front of this notary, they know this is a high standard process. We all complied all our requirements. If they see a notary from I don't know where, and they are going to read in detail who is this one, what does he know? Even our notary, for example, he has 4 kids.
Yes.
By surrogacy. So I think 2 of her kids, he went to court to obtain court orders. So everybody knows him. So it's better for me if you go to this more known situation environment. It's better. Nobody's going to make a favor, nothing like that. But when they receive something, okay, this is this case.
Yeah, I understand. One other next question. I hope I understand it correctly because it's a little bit vague question for me too. Some intended parents asking like some surrogate mother wants to quit their job. That's sometimes why they want to be surrogate mother to spend more time with their own children. So I assume the question is about like why surrogate mother decide to be surrogate mother or why they. I hope I understand the question. If the intended parents are still in the like webinar, please clarify your question and we can answer it later too.
Maybe I will say this. When you find a surrogate,
I can
I'm
ask the question
sure.
if you want, because it was my question.
Oh, sure.
Please.
Thank you.
There was a comment earlier that said the surrogate shouldn't give up her job. Some surrogates want to become surrogates so they can have, almost a year with their own child, and spend time with their own families and give up their job. So would that therefore be an issue for the court?
So as I understand
Okay.
question, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe when I answered or I mixed some concepts, I would say that when you find a surrogate, it's important that she shows that the money she's going to receive for being a surrogate is not her only source of income. That's important to judge. If she doesn't have a job because she's at home with her kids, we need to show the judge that she has a partner or husband or family that supports her. The problem is when they don't have money to give a good life to her kids. If she has a job when she enters this program and she has a job, I would say to her, please don't quit, because in that case, we are going to show judge that the compensation is the only source of income. If you want to quit, when you finish this program, okay, feel free to do this. But if you have a job when you start this program, please don't quit your job unless you have, in Argentina, they can't fire you if you are pregnant. Nothing to do with surrogacy or your own kid. If you are pregnant, nobody can fire you. So don't quit the job. It's
But
important to show that you have how to live, and compensation is not like a salvation table.
But if surrogate
Maybe,
mother is single and doesn't have any income and stay-home mom, in this case, it will be a problem, or she will
yes,
never
how
be.
does she live? We need to show how does she live.
Understand?
How does she buy food for her kids if she's single? No partner, no job.
Currently, does court request some additional documentation of the income for surrogate mother? Currently?
No, it's enough with the psychological informed, because when she has the interview, the psychologist is going to ask her, do you have an income? Do you work? How do you feel at work? How do you feel at home? So that's, for this moment, is enough.
That's great. Yeah.
Because in Argentina, we have a lot of people working in no registered jobs. So judges, they understand that. It's enough if you say, okay, I do nails, or I am a stylist, hairstylist, and I don't have a proof of my incomes, but I work here. That's enough. You don't need to show documents. But psychologist is going to start the interview asking her, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, I understand. One of the questions is about as we noticed after the birth certificate was not delivered by civil registry, some of the intended parents had the trouble to get a doctor's appointment or get an insurance. So also with our intended parents, we had this kind of issues. One of the solution we found that the baby was delivered in one of the hospitals. So this hospital has a record of the intended parents and also the surrogate mother and also the baby. So this hospital can help you get a doctor's appointment and everything. Regarding insurance, after the baby is delivered 1 month, surrogate mother's insurance covers the baby's insurance. And you can also extend this period of time and also ask surrogate mother to maybe when the clinic requires she to come with you, and this also protected in the parents' interest, because clinic also understand these parents are struggling here and they try to help you, and you just need to talk to them and explain the situation. And for example, in our case, our agency was helping intended parents. We talked with the clinic. In this case, we are with Otamendi because all our delivery was happening in one of the biggest clinics in Argentina. So we explained the situation and they were happy. They was trying to help us, and all the Indian parents got appointment with the doctors too. So these can manage by your agency or the legal advisor who you have in Argentina.
Yes.
One of the question is that this is the question I will anyway ask because it was in the chat. Like, who pays for surrogate lawyer? Are there enough lawyers specialized in surrogacy? For example, in Buenos Aires right now. So I can help you.
How many lawyers? I don't know. We have this WhatsApp group between lawyers here, and we are only 6 there. And I think between the 6 lawyers, we have 90% of cases now in Buenos Aires. So I think there's more lawyers that can understand surrogacy. I don't know if they are very trained in international surrogacy, but it has to do with family rights and family law. So if you find a family lawyer, at the end, he's going to understand what we are talking about.
Yeah, I understand. One of the questions is like some lawyers states that pre-birth order were not done before 2017, and this never existed. Is it true, or how is the situation?
We have cases before 2017 of cases pre-birth order or pre-transfer authorization in cases surrogate was sister, friend, schoolmate, or something. We don't have commercial surrogacy asking for pre-birth orders before 2017. That's why last week we started with these 40 cases, different situations, just to see which is our new picture.
Mhm.
But only trying to obtain faster results, not to discuss the definition of surrogacy or rights of the babies. No, only to define which path, which way is better and faster.
Understand. Next question, I think I will answer to that because I also represent the agency. It is like, will the agency help us with the court proceeding and communication with the lawyers? So it depends on the agency you work with. So with our intended parents, we're getting involved. We are trying to manage this process to make sure that the process will go smoothly. For example, with our intended parents currently, Miss Selena is in charge, and she's trying to help with our pregnancy and go through the court proceedings. So it depends on the agency, what kind of contract you have with them, how they manage your program. So I think it's like every agency has different like guidelines or policy, company policy. In our cases, we are taking in charge and we are helping the parents because from the emotional side, also that from their like financial side, it's really important to make sure that they have clarity and everything and it's managed by us. And because they trust us and they have trust with not only with the agency, also the lawyer they had signed like informed consent with. So every agent had different policy, I would say.
Yes.
This is also an interesting question. For example, like when we apply for pre-birth order, and like we stated, for example, we are on pregnancy, like maybe 30 or 20-week pregnancy, and baby will be delivered, for example, in November or December. We court says that like, okay, this will be priority because it's happening soon, or it doesn't matter and it will take.
No.
Yes.
It will take that time.
Okay.
When a family judge has a lot of files on his desk, he has this case, he has a family violence, how do you say it? Family violence, adoptions, babies in the street, kids in the street. So at the end of the day, he has a lot of priorities, and this baby is going to be born in 4 months. So, okay, I can read this tomorrow, but I have these 2 cases,
yes,
babies raped or whatever, that I need to discuss today. So it's not an urgency. There's not a baby in risk.
Yes. And one more question. For example, there's other agent who are working right now and try to refer Argentina to intended parents. Should they stop and wait until the process will clear up, or should they like continue referring and later apply for court? Which is the best solution for intended parents?
I had some meetings with some agencies, and I found that some agencies want to wait until we have our first orders and decide to continue. But we have other ones that when we had this meeting, they said, okay, we are going to come to Argentina. And I said, okay, do you know we are going, there's some changes? Yes, but you know, surrogacy, it's a roller coaster, they said.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this picture in Colombia, we saw this picture, all the countries, they have different situations, and we are used to that. We only take care that in Argentina, you have all positive decisions about surrogacy. So maybe we are going to undergo some changes, but Argentina is not a risk.
Yeah.
That's the 2 positions I see. I always say, please don't stop your programs. We are a good place. We are a safe place to do surrogacy.
Every like legal change is always happening. For example, in Georgia in 2020, it's happened the same because there was a lot of like regulation change. Even the health clinic should approve. So this always
same
happens.
Colombia, same Mexico, same everything. Yes.
So one other question, one of the Indian parents like clarifies. So basically, hotel requested like identification number for the child. So it is like, and baby does not have like birth certificate, so there was no identification number of the child.
Yes.
So how this problem can be solved, or hotel always requests the identification number of the child, or some this kind of.
It's automatic. It's automatic. When you obtain your birth certificate, at that moment you apply for the document, and they will add a sticker on your birth certificate with your baby's ID number. But if you don't, for example, there are babies that they don't have the sticker with ID number, and nothing happens. Life is normal. We have a normal life. I don't have sticker with my kid's number.
Yes, I understand. And also to clarify again, like currently the one of the also our intended parents asking, the baby was born like after June 3, especially like 24 June. Like they still don't have any birth certificate or anything. The civil registry doesn't make any comments or got in touch regarding this matter. How the problem can be solved, or what we expecting? What is the best solution for this?
Those cases, go to court. Go to court. Go to court. If civil registry solves this faster, okay, we are all happy. We say, thank you very much, Mr. Judge. I solved my problem. But my best advice, go to court and have these possible solutions open.
Understand. And another question is about like, does pre-birth order in Argentina has the same power as like pre-birth order in America, considering the fact that surrogacy is not legal? This is one of the questions I just read directly.
Yes, because a court order is a court order, but it's different here from the United States, because in the United States, you have a law that regulates surrogacy. So judge needs to control that you follow the law, and that's it. He's not going to deny the process, but he's going to take care there's no trafficking, okay? They take care there's no trafficking. But in Argentina is different because we don't have a law. So maybe you find a judge that says, okay, I have some doubt. Can you come here, Miss Surrogate, because I have some question to ask you? Or sometimes we saw this and say, okay, that's okay. We don't need to meet her. Or maybe they make a Zoom or...
Yes, and also another question is
but
like...
it's a pre-birth, but it's a court order, so it's power, it has the same power.
And also another question is that, does Miss Silvina knows how many surrogacy agencies are operating in Buenos Aires right now?
Well, that's a question. There's lots of agencies. Maybe you are going to find like 15, 18. Some people is saying, for example, there's some lawyers saying agencies are illegal, and they have their own agencies. So be careful about that. And there's specific one agency that we have problems now. He has an agency, this man, and I don't think he's going to do things well. He received a lot of money and he's doing nothing. So be careful when you sign with an agency.
Understand. And
okay, it's very important. I have now 10 cases of parents that they paid an agency, and or he blocked the parents, or he's doing nothing, or his answers are next week, and we don't have nothing. So be careful.
Yes, and there's like 2 more questions left. One question is that, can we enforce this court order in our foreign country in front of the court? So I assume they meant pre-birth order to enforce in other countries. Is it your question? Yeah, I'm not sure which court order.
Here. Yeah. It's not possible. I don't think you can obtain a court order in your country to enforce another country to register a baby.
So
I don't think a judge.
Yeah, I assume the question was like about the, it's called, they call like this court order issued in the Argentina can be like enforced in foreign country. So I think it would like just proof of affiliation. Yes,
this is international law. If you need after birth, we have some cases for some countries, for example, France, that we had this case. We have mother and father. And when we went to French embassy to register the baby, because their parents wanted to give the baby their French citizenship, France said, okay, for me, the father is the father, but the mother, it's not the mother for me. She's a declarant. So, lawyer at home in France, they said, we have two choices. We can adopt the baby, we call that adoption by integration. Or if you don't want to do that, ask the mother. We need to obtain a parental order in Argentina. And she said, I want to make history. I do not want to adopt my own child. So they asked us to obtain a parental order, and we obtained a parental order to be presented in French government saying, we have here surrogacy process. There's okay for Argentinian law. She is the mother. And we sent that to the French lawyer. We are sending them now. And he's going to apply with that Argentinian order to a court in France to ask our judge to modify the French birth certificate, not the Argentinian birth certificate, because in Argentina, she's the mother and he's the father. To modify French birth certificate. It's a complicated institution. It's called international law. And we use that. But that's the only situation. You are going to go to court at home and ask, please write down this. The same if you were married in France and you divorce here, you need to ask the judge in France to inscribe the divorce because we don't have a marriage document here.
Yeah,
so if you lived here and you divorce here, you have a ruling here, and you need to go at home with that to ask a judge to do what it's called exequatur, technically, all over the world.
yeah. Oh, thank you. And I think two questions left. One is do we foresee any changes around pregnancy termination law? Will they have any changes?
Yes, no, I know in newspapers all over the world, they said our new president is against abortion. Maybe he is, I don't know. But this is a small part of the Congress, and we have a very strong law about termination of pregnancy. It was a law that took a long time to be obtained. So we are not expecting any changes in that matter.
And I think there's one question that just appeared. No. So I think we just need to clarify this one because I think it was the pre-birth order is not enough. We should ask for parental order in addition of the pre-birth order. This is the question. Is pre-birth order enough to get a birth certificate, or we still need parental order?
No, you don't steal a parental order. Yeah. It's a court order. It's okay.
Yeah.
Some countries they ask us for a parental order. Some countries, some specific parents. Every country has different laws about citizenship. So some lawyers, because for us it's important to work with a lawyer at home, because if they need something, we need to obtain this for them. But every country is different, not for Argentina.
Yes, I understand. And so I think you already mentioned, but we can also repeat to make sure that intended parents understand everything. So can we clarify the clinic location being outside of Buenos Aires doesn't matter? So by clinic, I assume they meant where the embryo transfer will be done. Yes, where the embryo transfer will be done.
Okay, that's not important. No problem with that.
Okay, and where the birth happens or the plan.
Yes, that's important. Yes, that's important.
Yeah. So I think we answer all the questions, and I hope everything is clear right now based on what we have right now, based on the information what we have from the civil registry or from the court. I also hope next week we will have more clarification, or in this month, because I also heard that
we have news every day. We share every day some news. Even when we are not sure, I share everything, and I will stay saying that Argentina is a good destination to do surrogacy. So don't cancel your programs. Don't be afraid. Don't have concerns. We are here to help. We have very good judges, very good doctors, very good clinics, very good hospitals. So it's a roller coaster, yes, but we are here to help.
Yeah, important is there's always like some backup plan and solution. For example, pre-birth order. For example, some couple prefers to apply for court after the baby's delivered. So there's always like way to find and solve the problem.
We are going to find the way, yes. Just be patient. We are going to find a way, and nothing to do with the institution. We don't have problems with surrogacy. For me, that's very important. It's not illegal. It's not forbidden. Nothing to do like that. We are changing the way we are registering babies.
Yes, that's really important. And I really hope so, because I also heard the seal registration might have some clarification within this month. So I really hope so this is going to happen too soon.
Yes. I saw a question, where's the best place to obtain news? I think your agency, your lawyer. I always say when I have interviews with parents, if you read something in Facebook groups, Instagram, whatever, please ask me, ask your agency. Don't follow that information. 90% of the time, it's incorrect and complete and or false. Yesterday, we received this message. Okay, this lawyer is saying this. So I called her and said, did you say this? No, I never said that. So don't follow all the information you see.
Yeah, like media sometimes can be really tricky to trust because there's so many misinformation, and especially related to surrogacy in Argentina. I heard and also read lots of information, and some of this seems really scary. Even if I was like not involved in the process, I'll be scared to even try to get more information.
Yes. All lawyers are very sad about this situation, and we don't want to have parents awake in the middle of the night or nervous or uncomfortable. Please don't be.
Yeah, this is one of our goal for this webinar, was to provide some clarity, because I also noticed that even for me, if I was intended parents or was person who get involved in surrogacy process, I'll be also scared because there's different information from different sources, and they are so contradict. Because when you read in the translation with the Google Translate, sometimes the wording can be really tricky because not every word is translated well. Same goes to Georgian language too. So I also always recommend, if you have some question, contact the lawyer, or if you are signed up with a strict agency, ask them to talk with a lawyer or have like some clarity or some like additional information, because it's always better to approach someone who knows, who practice and has information and is like constantly in touch with the responsible person.
Yes. For example, in Argentina, you can move, you can change your address. Life is dynamic. So if in first document you have some address and you move, there's no problem for us. At the end, the last address you have, it's the last address we are going to use. But if you sign documents with your old address, it's okay for us. It's okay. So don't be worried about that, because for us, address, it's not important. Just to give an example.
Yeah, thank you for your time, for everyone. I think there's one more question. We will answer this question because I think it's very important, and when we can close the webinar. And one question is about like a surrogate mother needs to go to court room, and is there any anonymity or something?
Yes, I always prefer to go with her and her lawyer. Yes. But all surrogates, they know about this when we start the process. Even when we don't need to go to court, in every document, we wrote that she is going to collaborate to obtain birth certificate if she needs to go to court, if she needs to sign applications or whatever. They are aware of this. And they have a lawyer, and we work all together with their lawyers. We go all together to court.
That's great.
In the same presentation.
Oh yeah, you go to physically, and that's perfect because court also can see her and ask questions, so it's perfect. Thank you for your time, Ms. Wilvin, and for everyone for joining, because I know because of the time difference, for someone it's already like almost middle of the night. So I thank you for your time and for your questions. And if you have additional questions, please get in touch with the agency or for your lawyer or for your agency. And feel free. And like, I also left Miss Silvina's email address because one of the intended parents asked for. So feel free to contact her directly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank
And we are
you.
here to help.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.